Hello there and welcome to today's lesson. Today, it's not really a lesson as such, but I just want to go over a few of the things that we talked about yesterday in more detail. First and foremost, I know that less than 3% of the people that watch yesterday's lesson actually do the homework. I know that, and it's completely expected, that's completely okay. For a start, if you did that, if you wrote down just a few paragraphs that you could say to somebody and help them to relax, it doesn't matter how good or how bad you think you did, if you actually did it, then I can guarantee you this, you are going to be a runaway success with hypnosis. You've got exactly what it takes to completely succeed at this. However, if you, which is much more likely, are in the 97% of people that don't do the homework, then I don't want you to worry about that. That's perfectly okay, because I have to be honest, if I wasn't doing these lessons and I was taking them, when it got to yesterday's lesson, I'd be thinking, this is a bit crap. Just talking about relaxation. I wanted to get into hypnosis. I want to be able to click my fingers and make people go into trance and get them to do stuff they wouldn't normally do. That is coming, but we cannot get to that stage until we've got a foundation to build upon. And this homework that I set yesterday, this idea of just saying a few sentences to a person to encourage them to relax, that is that foundation. It's like that's the skeleton and we need to flesh it out with different techniques. But if we don't have the skeleton to start with, we can't flesh it out. So this is so important. So I want to really encourage you to do this. Just a few paragraphs. And if you are struggling with it, if you gave it a go and you thought this is a bit more difficult than I expected, just start at the feet, work your way up through the body. Just say your feet are relaxing, your feet feel comfortable. Your legs are relaxing, your legs feel comfortable and heavy. And just move through the body like that. It doesn't matter if you repeat yourself. It doesn't matter if you just use very short sentences and just keep saying the same thing over and over again. Your arms are relaxing. Your arms feel comfortable and heavy. Your stomach and your chest is relaxing. Your chest feels nice and comfortable, and it relaxes more with each breath that you take. The feelings of relaxation can move up your neck and into your face, and you can allow your face to relax. You can relax your jaw and imagine your jaw hanging limp and loose. That's all it really takes. You don't have to do any more than that. Just move from the toes all the way up to the top of the head and talk about different muscles relaxing. Now, that really doesn't sound like much, but over the coming lessons, we are going to flesh that out. And what now is just a few paragraphs is going to turn into a very powerful hypnotic induction script. Now this is really valuable because, first of all, once you've done this and you see the transformation from something that seems so basic you probably wouldn't have bothered doing it to something that is an incredibly powerful induction script that you can read out to a person and they go into trance, when you see that transition, then you understand that you can develop a script really easy, just on the fly. So if somebody asks you to hypnotise them and you've got no script with you, then you'll be able to just make one up because you'll understand the process of creating a script. It also means that if you rely on other people's scripts, which I think is perfectly okay, a lot of hypnotists say don't do that, but if you download scripts from the internet, you can go through them, you can tweak them, and you can make them better. You can see which bits would work and which bits are a little bit silly to be in there. And I've got to say, there are a lot of crap scripts on the internet. I've downloaded stacks of scripts over the years and I've been reading them just shaking my head and tutting away thinking, why has somebody put this in here? It is so ridiculous that this statement's in here, and all it is going to do is cause the person that you're trying to hypnotise to just get more stressed and more tense. There are books that are on sale. You can go into your local bookshop and you can buy books that are aimed at complete beginners for hypnosis that have got induction scripts in there that are full of errors, really glaring errors. Over the next few lessons, I'm going to teach you some golden rules that you need to stick to if you want a good quality script. And if you look at some of the stuff that's out there available to people that really wouldn't know any better, that stuff it breaks all these rules over and over and over again. And it is no wonder that some people struggle to actually get someone into a trance. Now this is, in my opinion, a real problem, because the people that are attracted to those books, they are beginners. They don't know anything about hypnosis. So when they read those scripts, they think, this is the professional is telling me to do this. This is what I should be doing. These words are going to work. And a lot of people think about it like it is a spell. I'll read this out of this book. It's going to put someone into trance. But it's really not like that. There are a shocking amount of bad scripts out there, and I want to make sure that rather than get any of those and get off on to a really bad start and probably lose your confidence when people don't go into trance, I want to put you into a position where you can create your own script, and it's a really good one. Now, what I will be doing, which is going to be a relief for a lot of people watching this, is I will provide you with scripts. But first of all, I want you to be able to create your own scripts. I want you to be able to develop your own style. I want you to be able to become your own hypnotist rather than just cloning somebody else that's already out there. And the thing is, when you start to look at different scripts from different people, which I'm going to really encourage you to do, you'll just get little ideas and you'll take little pieces from here and there, and you'll really start to develop your own techniques. And that's when you actually become a hypnotist. Now, lecture over. I really do hope that you do the homework, and I hope that's kind of encouraged you to do that. What I also wanted to talk about today, this idea of changing your brainwave frequencies, of moving from beta down into alpha, and being able to slow the brain down. I want to talk about that just a little tiny bit more. There are different ways that you can slow down this frequency, and when we're talking about like 8 to 13 hertz, so that's cycles per second, that's not something that we can audibly recognise. It's just going too fast, so it just sounds a little bit like a hum. But there are ways using brainwave entrainment where you can condition your brain through sounds or through light to be able to, slow down. Now, I've already mentioned pacing and leading. What pacing and leading is, you match what somebody is doing. Very often you might match a person's breathing pattern. So if you watch their shoulders rise and fall, as they're breathing, you may perhaps only speak on their in-breath when they, say this is their breath. So as you're talking to the person and they begin relaxing a little bit deeper, you can just speak when they're breathing in and leave pauses as they're breathing out. And after just a few moments of doing this, they will begin to associate the pace of your voice and the rhythm of your speaking with their breathing in and out. And then, if you begin to slow down, their breathing will naturally slow down to maintain rapport with you. So you see how that works? That's pacing and leading. You do something that matches somebody's current experience. After a little while, they create an association with you, and that's kind of building rapport. And then you change what you were doing, and then they change to match you. Now, we can do in that example to slow down a person's breathing. Where you will see people doing this naturally, if you've got people that are really engaged in a conversation, really good friends, you might watch people in a cafe, and they'll sort of mirror each other's body postures. One person might be leaning on their hands talking, and the other person will kind of match that. And after a while, they might change their posture to something else. And as soon as they do, you see, within moments, the other person does it too. It's this desire to maintain this sense of rapport. It's a very instinctual psychological thing. And that's what we're taking advantage of as hypnotists when we pace somebody and then we lead them to a new experience. So very often when you're hypnotising somebody, you start off by being very awake, you talk quite quickly, you're very animated, and then as you lead them towards trance, you slowly start to slow things down. You start to relax a little bit more, and as you relax, they become more relaxed. And as your voice slows down, it kind of slows down their breathing, and it slows down their thinking, and their brain moves down into this more comfortable, more relaxed state of consciousness. Critical factor falls asleep, and your suggestions go in. So you can see how easy that is to do. It's not a complicated thing. You just slow things down once you've established a sense of rapport with somebody. Now, brainwave entrainment does exactly the same thing with light and sound. But because this sound, these frequencies are too fast for us to be able to determine them, there's a technique called binaural beats, where you get one frequency in one ear and you get another frequency in another ear, and you do this using headphones. And the difference between those two frequencies, this one might be 520 hertz for an example, and this one might be 525 hertz. So there's a discrepancy there of 5 hertz. Those sounds go into your brain puts them together, and it comes up with a new pattern, which is just 5 hertz, which would be something that we wouldn't normally be able to hear. We wouldn't notice 5 hertz. Well, 5 hertz we probably would, but it gives you an idea, but that would be below our normal audible range. If we were doing this with flashing lights, then we would be able to see 5 hertz, 5 cycles a second. So that's how brainwave entrainment works. You have a set of headphones on, you have something that starts off by matching the frequency that you're at when you're in a beta state of consciousness, so the pulses are quite quick. And it stays like that for a while, and you just relax and listen to it. And after some time, it slowly starts to move down into the frequencies that are within the alpha range. And what happens there is your brain wants to maintain that sense of rapport, so it moves down too. It's that pacing and leading thing. So that's brainwave entrainment. I wanted to talk about that today before we enhanced your induction script, because there are 2 pieces of free software that I think you should get. If you're on a Mac, there's a piece of software called Genoreal, I think it is. It's pronounced something like that. There will be a link beneath this video so you can download that. It's completely free. It's not really intuitive how you use it, but you can get your head around it. There are some tutorials, and there's a bit of a forum on their website where you can ask questions and things. But it comes with a few presets so you can see the pattern. The preset that is on there when you first get it, the idea is someone's made a preset that's going to encourage them to do astral projection. And the preset starts off with normal waking consciousness, goes down into the alpha state, and then it maintains the alpha state, but every now and again it has a little bit of a peak, just to make sure the person listening to it doesn't fall asleep. And the idea is it keeps you at the optimum state to achieve astral projection. But that particular state is really, really similar to hypnosis anyway, so that's the preset one on that is quite handy. But you can go in there and you can move the little nodes about, move it up and down, and use it to get you to any frequency you desire. Now, a little bit later, when you start actually recording hypnotic inductions, and we lay all the techniques in there, you can use that program to put a backing kind of sound that will condition a person. So your backing sound starts off with the person at beta. As you start your induction, it goes down and it takes them into alpha. So it's another layer. When we talked about the pencils, and the idea of each one building up on each other and it becoming difficult to snap, that's like adding a really fat pencil into that mix. Now, if you're on Windows, there's a program called Brainwave Generator, BWGen. I've been on Mac for quite a few years, so I used to use Brainwave Generator a long, long time ago. I've not touched it for a very long time, but in that there are a lot of presets, and there's kind of like an online community where people submit ones that they've created, and then you can download them and listen to them. But the idea with that, what it seems that a lot of people do is they try to replicate states of consciousness that you might experience by taking different drugs, that kind of thing. So there'll be presets on there that try and replicate the experience that you might have if you took ecstasy, for instance. It tries to create that in your mind. There are also presets on there for things like encouraging astral projection, remote viewing, and there's also ones on there that are specifically for helping people to get into a state of self-hypnosis. I think, I should have checked this before I made this video, but I think the situation with Brainwave Generator, if you can download the thing completely free, and you can create your own presets, but I reckon there's a minimal nominal fee that you have to pay. It's not very expensive, but that enables you to use other people's presets. So those two, that's one for Mac and one for PC. Get whichever one of those is applicable for you, because you will find them very, very valuable tools in future. But also, I'll put a link down beneath this. There are some professional pieces of software that do this same thing, but they've got all the bells and whistles, lots of presets, and they're a lot nicer interfaces. So those ones you do have to pay for, but just have a click on the link and have a look at some of them, and if that's something that you think that you want, then go for that. If you're okay with the bare knuckles version, then go for the free options. So that wraps up today. I will be working on your induction script over the next few lessons, but please, 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 please get from the 97% of people into the 3% and do your homework. So you take care and have a wonderful day. Remember to click on those links and download your free program. Bye-bye.